I recently found an article posted by the U.S. News and World Report, and they were, let's say, less than complimentary when it came to their assessment of gold. Now, do any of their reasons hold water, or are they just being narrow-minded on the subject? Well, we're going to talk about that and more, so make sure you stay tuned. YouTube, how the heck are you? Welcome to another episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And I am happy to report that my house is still standing after my very first copper pour. I'm pretty stoked about that. Of course, I'd like to thank you guys for checking out the latest video here at the channel, and also for all the amazing support. It's appreciated so much more than you know. You guys are the absolute best. Now, today, we're going to talk about this U.S. News article and their completely negative assessment of gold. Is there any validity to it? Let's go ahead and roll it. All right, again, I'm referencing an article written by this John Devine guy for U.S. News and World Report. I'm not going to go detail by detail, but I'll give you his 5 reasons not to invest in gold. And I'll leave the link to the article in the description if you're interested in digging deeper into his thought process. Some of his reasons certainly have some merit, but I'm going to disagree with him on a couple of them. So the author starts off his article with a quote from Warren Buffett in regard to people being correct and running away from paper money, but saying where they run to is the mistake, kind of insinuating that Buffett believes gold is a mistake. Now let's get real. Buffett's a long-known gold hater, pretty much calling it, quote, something that does nothing but sit there and look at you, unquote. But lo and behold, in 2020, 2 years after this article was published, Buffett shocked Wall Street by pumping $564 million into Barrick Gold, which at the time was the world's largest gold mining company. Clearly, he saw enough to invest in something he'd done nothing but disparage for decades. So much for Devine's poster child for hating on gold, huh? I mean, yeah, investing in gold mining versus holding physical gold are two completely different entities, but it showed that Warren was warming up to the yellow metal. Anyway, so the author's first reason you should avoid gold is, number 1, gold provides poor long-term returns. Now, he quoted a book titled Invest with the Fed that states gold underperforms equities in all interest rate environments, despite its celebrated popular status as a hedge against inflation. Look, we get it. Stocks can provide investors with quicker returns than physical gold, but I'm going to give you an example after we go over his 5 reasons that completely disputes the author's take on gold's poor long-term returns. Reason number 2, it's hard to value gold. Devine quotes a chief investment officer who stated, quote, the value of gold is determined by supply and demand, which is very hard to predict. Demand typically goes up based on fear and not fundamentals, unquote. And he would be correct. But when we're simply acquiring and stacking gold, we're not looking at overall value as frequently as we would the stock market. We know going into this thing that gold and silver are long holds, and, well, we buy accordingly. Maybe checking out spot price from time to time to ascertain the best time to buy. But since most of us dollar cost average, I'm only concerned about what the value of gold will be when I'm ready to sell years from now. I'm not wasting time trying to predict where it's going to go. I'll do that down the road. Right now, I'm just acquiring. Reason number 3, gold doesn't throw off cash or profits. The author again quotes the book Invest with the Fed with a passage that states, quote, a major disadvantage to investing in gold is that there are no periodic cash flows made to the investor. Unlike most stocks and bonds, there are no regular cash dividends or payments made to gold investors, unquote. He also says that dividends can also be used to buy back stock or reinvest in the company, neither of which apply to a non-producing asset like gold, another unquote. This statement would be accurate. Unfortunately, the author is comparing apples to oranges when it comes to stocks versus gold. One is simply just not like the other, and I'll summarize that at the end of this video. Reason number 4, gold has little utility. The author writes that gold really doesn't provide much utility in the way of production value, and he goes on to say that gold loses out to other metals like silver in that regard, which is frequently used in products ranging from, I don't know what, electronics to medical devices, solar panels, the list goes on. Gold, on the other hand, just doesn't have many industrial end uses. Again, the author is nitpicking here. We all know that silver is the king of utility with all of its uses, but gold's strength lies in its own diverse uses like jewelry, technology, and certainly by central banks and investors. Gold isn't meant for utility usage. It never really was. Reason number 5, gold is inefficient. The author's final reason investing in gold simply isn't a wise idea is due to its extreme inefficiency. He says since it's a physical asset that people have a tendency to hoard, there are storage costs and often security costs, as malcontents, he calls them malcontents, have a tendency to steal it. Dramatic much? He also says the very metal that's supposed to safeguard investors from runaway inflation and a print-happy Federal Reserve is also constantly experiencing an increase in supply. Oh, well. More and more, after all, is mined every year, he says, which increases the world's usable gold supply. Now, we all know, as far as the storage thing goes, gold actually stores very well, especially when it's compared to silver, which can be a problem when you hit a large amount. Gold doesn't take up much space, and a good safe in the house hidden away along with other forms of protection usually suffice. This guy acts like we're all stacking kilos and 100-ounce bars of gold. And there you have it. One author's 5 reasons why gold is a waste of money and time. Now, I'll admit that a few of his finer points are accurate, but one point I'm going to dispute is his outlook on the long-term potential of gold. But in order to do that, we're going to take a trip back in time about 20 years ago to 2003. We'll take some cash and stash it in our safe. Let's say around
$1 million.
Pretty good amount, right? So we've stashed this $1 million in our safe, and we've saved it for 20 years to present day 2023. Well, how did our money do just sitting there? Unfortunately, not good at all. Because of inflation and the devaluation of the dollar, our $1 million actually lost value. Lost value all the way down to under $600,000. We lost, $400,000 with our cash just sitting in the safe. It proves that the dollar is a continually depreciating asset.
Feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
So let's flip it. Let's flip it one more time. What if we taken that same $1 million back in 2003 and put it into an interest-bearing savings account? How would we have done from 2003 to 2023? Well, we made a profit anyway. It's better than the first scenario. A whopping $12,069 over 20 years with an average interest rate of 0.06%. Now, granted, something's better than nothing, but I would have hoped to have had far better results with my $1 million in the bank in 2003. But there's hope. There is hope. What if, bear with me here, what if we'd taken that $1 million back in 2003 and bought gold with it? How would we have done then? We would have done pretty damn good, actually. In 2003, an ounce of gold was $363.83. So our $1 million would buy 2,748.5 ounces of gold for a total cost of $999,804.84. And let's go back to present day 2023, where an ounce of gold is worth $1,845, roughly. That 2,748.5 ounces we bought back in 2003 is now worth $5,070,982. Quite a difference. So if we would have taken that $1 million back in 2003 and put it into gold instead of a savings account or stashing it in the mattress, we would have made a profit of $4,071,177 over 20 years. That's on gold. So that's better than the cash itself. It's better than a bank account. Tell me once again how gold isn't a hedge against inflation. It just seems to adjust as inflation rises. I'm confused. I'm not sure. Maybe this divine guy is onto something here, right? Nah. So let's start wrapping this video up. I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare precious metals to stocks and other methods of earning instant profits. Stocks are for playing the game for consistent returns and reinvesting as you go to increase your position. Precious metals are more of a long game with a far different purpose in mind, and I'm not even going to get into the why. Stackers know what their stacks of silver and gold are for. It's not for the now, it's for the later. And we've proven that by running the numbers on how gold can perform over the years. The problem is these writers just assume that stackers are these mindless drones going to the coin shop faithfully every week, amassing their physical precious metals. The reality is many of us are just as involved in the markets as we are with our metals. We're diversifying, and we're just not counting on precious metals to save us or make us rich. But enough of that. If you're interested in expanding your portfolio's horizons, here's NerdWallet's list of the 12 best investments right now. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not advising that you take on any of these 12 ideas here. This is just one company's idea of the best investments right now. And bear in mind, you don't see precious metals in there. All right. There you have it. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. Be sure to comment down below and let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think gold is a waste of money? Is it a waste of time? Are we just throwing our money away? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on gold down below. And if you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I will definitely catch up with you in the next episode. But in the meantime,
What do you want to do with your life?
damn right, get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, folks.